Hi, third grade. I am in our science book moving on to the next lesson. So I am starting on page C12 this morning with kinds of soils. And actually, to make my video shorter, I'm going to skip these first two pages. You are more than welcome to read them on your own. And I'm going to get right into the heart of the lesson with you. And so I'm going to start on C14. You're welcome to follow along with me. I wish that you would. The main idea here is that soil is made of living and non living things. What makes up soil? Soil is made of many different materials. They include small rocks, sand, minerals, and silt. Silt is made of very tiny pieces of rock. Other materials in soil come from living things and form humus. Humus is a material that was once living or was formed by a living thing. Humus adds nutrients to the soil. Soil has spaces for air and water. These spaces are often made by plant roots and insects. There are usually two layers of soil. The top layer is called topsoil. It is made of very small, dark particles. Topsoil has a lot of humus and minerals. It also can hold a lot of water. Below the topsoil is a layer called subsoil. Subsoil is made of bigger, lighter colored particles. Subsoil lacks humus. That means it doesn't have the humus. Subsoil does hold water and some minerals. Below subsoil is solid rock. And to support this idea is the diagram they include. So up at ground level, of course, we see the plants that grow, the grasses and dandelions right now, right? We see those things. The roots go below the surface and are in the topsoil, which has the humus in it because plants die and that material stays up toward the top as they rot away or wither, and so do animal remains, right? Those would be in that top layer, which actually help the plants grow. And then the subsoil is below that. And as you get deeper and deeper into the soil, rockier, and then down to solid rock, which would be way, way, way down. So topsoil forms at Earth's surface. Rocks break into very small particles and mix with humus. Nice picture of a farm there with some crops that have either been planted or growing or something. There are many kinds of soils. Each kind is made of different types of rocks and minerals. Some soils hold more water than other soils. Some soils have more humus too. Different soils are found in different places, different parts of the world. In some places, the soil has a lot of clay. In other places, the soil is very sandy. A few lucky places have loam. Loam is a kind of soil with clay and sand. Plants grow well in loam. Soil layers can be thick or thin. Plants grow better in thick soil than in thin soil. Windy, dry weather can make soil thinner. Mountains have thin soil because gravity pulls soil downhill. Soil takes a long time to form. Farmers take good care of their soil. They want to use it year after year. If they don't care for their soil, it can turn to silt. Silt is dry, dusty soil. So here are some pictures of different kinds of soil. Sandy soil, loam, which contains clay and sand, and this soil contains red clay. That's the kind of soil we have at our house. It makes things difficult sometimes. Very heavy. It gets very, very hard when it's dry, but it holds water. And and not the best soil. All right. How much water can soil hold? Here's an activity. I'm going to keep moving to keep this short. We'll talk about more of these things later. This is a short lesson, isn't it? Why it matters. Plants need soil. Animals eat plants, so they need soil too. Without soil, we would have very little food. Many animals, such as prairie dogs and gophers, make their homes in soil. Worms and insects break down leaves, and these leaves become part of the soil. So some things to think about here. What is soil? How are soil layers different? And describe 3 different types of soil. So that would be your sandy soil, your loam, and your heavy clay soil. And of course, soil is full of rocks, isn't it? When you start digging, you run into little rocks and sometimes bigger rocks. And so that is why this lesson is following our our lesson last week on rocks. What is life like in the soil? Earthworms, plants, and insects such as ants and some beetles all live in the soil. They even have a story idea that you might be interested in. You could write a story, a poem, or a play about a living thing in the soil. I'm not assigning that to you, but if that interests you, you could do that. We'll talk more as the week goes on. This was just an introduction, and we'll try to bring some things in that make this topic a little more interesting.